Tessa Virtue is a two-time Olympic gold medalist. The first was achieved back in 2010, and today is the 10th anniversary of the opening ceremonies. It's unbelievable, 10 years of the Vancouver 2010 Games, and she's good enough to take some time to join us this morning. Tessa, how are you?
I'm great. Good morning. How are you?
We are wonderful. So, I just said, I can't believe it was 10 years ago. You were there. You were part of the opening ceremonies. Aside from the gold medal, what do you best and most remember of that period of time in Vancouver?
Wow. Well, the opening ceremonies was certainly a memorable one. I've been reflecting on that the past few days. And being our first Olympics, nothing was exactly as we expected it would be. I mean, everything from the village to the outfit kitting to the opening ceremonies. I think for 4 hours we were backstage so excited. And every time we moved forward a little inch in line, we thought we were marching out into the stadium. So it was a long time to manage that anticipation. But I think probably what stands out most is just how Canadians came together. Vancouver sort of hosted the world in the most extraordinary way. And we were so proud. It was really just phenomenal.
What you're describing sounds like when you go to an amusement park and they trick you into thinking the line's about to end. And then you're like, no, this is just line 3 of the overall situation. So it really builds up.
That's basically the Olympics.
Yeah, it just builds up that anticipation.
Yeah.
One of the things we were talking about 2010, though, at least for me, it really felt like that was the first year in a really long time where everyone was just all in. The investment seemed to be there. Building the program seemed to be there. Own the Podium was there. I know you said it was your first, but did you feel that from maybe some of the other veteran athletes that they're like, wow, okay, we really have everyone behind us. They've given us the tools we need to be successful.
Definitely. The Canadian team had a swagger that I don't think had been seen in years past. And you're right, things like Own the Podium and just that attitude shift. Suddenly Canadians were declaring, I can be the best. I can win. That's my goal. And for so long, better than anyone, athletes have given sort of those trite, robotic answers about just wanting to have a good time.
Right.
And
just happy to be here.
Yeah, right. And I think it was really refreshing to adopt that mentality of, we're here for a reason. We're the strongest nation and we're going to show our skills.
I played under 18 in World Juniors for Team Canada, and I know the commitment for the Canadian sport and government and what's given to each individual sport. I know hockey's really taken care of. Is there anything in other sports or even in figure skating you think that this government should do more for each sport?
We were pretty lucky to receive government funding and help with our training. And even on a provincial level as well. It's always tough being an amateur athlete. The costs for training are just wildly high. And, families have to sacrifice. Often it means uprooting and switching locations to train with the right coaches and staff, at least in skating. Yeah, it's tough. I think we really reap the benefits of a lot of government funding, and we're so grateful for that. But as you know, there can always be more when it comes to sport, and especially when that visibility of representing Canada on the world stage is so prominent and important.
With Tessa Virtue, Tessa, take us back to how it all started with Scott Moir. When did you two first start skating together, and when did you have a sense that you as a tandem would not only click, but could be the very best at what you did?
Well, way back in 1997. How long do you have here?
We have as much time as you want to give us, honestly.
We were paired up, and I'm sure it was just for other people's entertainment. It was not because we showed any potential or skills, but Scott's aunt was teaching both of us single skating. And we just happened to be probably about the same height, actually. We would just skate around the boards holding hands, not being able to see over the boards. In fact, we were so small. I was 7 and he was 9. And He was a hockey boy. I mean, I can't say he was all that driven in the skating world, but something did click when we got matched together, and we just really liked skating together. We were both incredibly competitive. And I would say that we knew that maybe there was potential there when we moved away from home. I was 13 and he was 15. And this is not a lie. It wasn't until January of 2010 where I realized, hey, maybe we could really do this in a month's time. Maybe we could win the damn thing. And Scott was like, yeah, welcome to 8 years ago. That's been sort of the plan.
That's been the plan for us.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming along, Tessa.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So, okay, I know that one of the things that I love about the Olympics so much is, and you kind of touched on it in your first answer, is that the unexpected can happen all the time, right? And that's kind of
right.
what we live through when we watch the Olympics, and everyone has their favorite moments. And I know that everyone points to the golden goal as probably one of the standout moments in the general Canadian consciousness, excuse me. But for me, it was really Joanie Rochette and everything that her performance embodied, and the tragedy that she was faced with her mom passing away, and kind of skating through that. Like, I get goosebumps even talking about it, even 10 years later. Was there a performance for you, not including yours maybe, where you look back and you're like, yeah, every time I think of 2010, this is something that really stands out for me?
Every time I think of 2010, Alex Bilodeau's performance comes to mind, absolutely. But as you were beginning to ask that question, I also thought of Joanie. We were roommates during the games. So that morning, when she found out that her mom had died, I was there with her. And I don't know how she found the strength to pull out those performances, to even take the ice and showcase such vulnerability. It makes me emotional to this day. And the way that she has flourished and thrived and used that to sort of thrust herself into these situations. I mean, she's doing med school now.
I saw that, yeah.
And she's just succeeding on an entirely different level. And I mean, I just think that's a testament to the grit and obviously the way that her mom raised her. I mean, that was just incredible. To be in that building when she finished her long program was something I'll never forget. Was
there a grappling with her about whether she was going to perform or not? I know that I think it was a speed skater had reached out to her who had lost a family member as well during maybe the Calgary games, and kind of motivated her to perform in her mother's honor. But was there a moment where she's just like, you know what, I'm not going to be able to go on?
I'm sure there was a lot of that, and I don't want to speak for Joe, but sure. I'm sure there was. The team really surrounded her and tried to make her feel supported and loved. And Peter Jensen was there, and he was a great source of support for her. And I think, her mom loved skating, and what a beautiful tribute. Not easy to do, especially just right on the heels of it all. But I've just never been so proud to be Canadian.
Tessa, that's a great way to end it. Thank you so much for this. And we appreciate your time this morning on the 10th anniversary of the opening ceremonies of the Vancouver Games.
Well, thank you for the thoughtful reflection. I really appreciate it.
Tessa Virtue, two-time Olympic gold medalist, and don't discount the silver that she got in Sochi in 2014. And you heard her mention Alex Bilodeau. He will be on Writer's Block with Jeff Blair and Stephen Brunt later this afternoon. We continue to reflect on the 2010 Winter Games in Vancouver 10 years ago.